Why MarkBook? You spend hours and hours preparing, administering, and evaluating assessments. Then you enter the results into your gradebook. But what does your gradebook give you in return? A single numerical mark? A letter grade? Anything else? Does it help you understand the result? Does it show you whether a student is improving or having trouble? Does it help identify students who are at risk? Does it provide you with a tool to use to help students chart paths to improvement? MarkBook can do all of this and much, much more. MarkBook will tell you stories about your students' progress. MarkBook won't just tell you a story, it will draw pictures for you. The MarkBook Trend Graph is a powerful tool that you will find indispensable. A science teacher has shared with us her class data for an example which shows Marilyn's consistent achievement. She has completed all the assessments to this point. The trend graph is automatically updated after each assessment is entered. Her average grade is 71.1%, which matches her level 3 and a most consistent achievement level M3. Most of her results land in bin M3. It may be included on printed reports if you wish. You don't have to spend any time to create it. An ordinary gradebook or a spreadsheet will tell you that each of these 3 students have the same overall grade, 71.1%, or a letter grade level 3 out of 4 levels. But the most consistent performance varies. MarkBook is telling you a different story for each student. We saw that Marilyn was demonstrating a mostly level and consistent performance. Nancy is showing improved achievement. She has found how to succeed with an M4 bin for most consistent performance and should be complimented on her effort. Kevin, on the other hand, is showing a decline in achievement. His results are moving in the wrong direction as we get nearer to the end of the course. Can you help him reverse this trend? When our teacher saw this trend graph, she had a private discussion with her student, Layla. As can be seen in her student report, her most consistent performance, the bin, is a level M4. But her calculated grade is 1 level below her standard, and currently at a level 3 with an average of 73.1. Quite a bit lower, usually outstanding achievement. Well, Layla explained that her father had suffered a severe medical event. As he was now unable to work, her mother had been forced to take a job working evenings. Layla was now having to balance the severe stress of this situation, as well as care for her father and younger siblings after school during evenings, which then made studying more challenging. This is revealed in her 14 absences and her 5 lates that were never a pattern before this family crisis. Our real teacher then was able to help Layla to connect with healthcare services, resulting in some in-home support for the family. And consideration was given by our teacher for Layla to make up the missed assignments and retake a poorly done test, and we saw her achievement return to her standard high level. Now this is a fairly common trend graph to encounter. Some students, like Jimmy, will not understand the importance of completing all assignments, not understanding the impact, say, of a 0 and what those have on overall scores. The story that our teacher told is that she used MarkBook as an opportunity for discussion with her students like Jimmy. When asked about missing assignments, students would offer statements such as, well, they don't count for much. I can make up the marks by getting good marks on other assessments. If I hand in late, there is a penalty, so it won't make much difference anyways. Among the information displayed in MarkBook is the percentage each assessment contributes to the overall mark. unless it's a no mark, an NM entry. So our teacher made some remarks, which appear in the student report to jog her memory as she organized her class data. As you can see, MarkBook allows you to review the history of student achievement by clicking in the upper gray headers to sort entries for an overview of each student's performance. With each click, you may sort by no mark, or level, or mark percent to gain a sequential or sorted diagnostic lens, in this case on Jimmy's recorded results. So here we can see that all is in a sequential order, or it can be sorted as required. So taking Jimmy aside for a private consultation, our teacher showed Jimmy which assignments might move him into at least a passing grade. So using this information, reviewing that, the record of his submitted classwork shows that he has some things to make up. Having skipped the unit test on ecology, which could not be redone and assigned it to 0, there are other opportunities. Like, what if you completed that missing assignment on bonding? It's worth 5.8% of the overall mark. Or the Circuit Mini project, or the star chart. If you hand that or those assignments in, your overall mark can go up by as much as 6 marks. Now let's see how many other marks we can find for you. Even if a late penalty is applied, Jimmy, do a good job on the assignment and your overall mark could go up at least 10 marks, maybe from the 41.9% that we have to a passing grade of 54%. So our science teacher reduced the data search to only the summative types. This is done by doing the search and sort in selecting the filters and only leaving the summative evaluations. She then went to edit the 3 entries and changed the 0 to a 75%. Now this is assuming a perfect result and includes a late submission deduction. And she didn't click on that upper red badge icon to save at this point. So reversing these inputs may be performed later, but to move to the next dashboard, the save icon must be activated. We can see there that Jimmy would have a 54% if all 3 of those assessments were changed to a 75 out of 100. Then, by reviewing the changed assignments, our teacher showed Jimmy how he could, with a bit of quick work, move to a passing grade and learn a valuable lesson about keeping up to date with his assigned term work. The teacher also reported that later she heard Jimmy telling other students, "Hey, I found a way to cheat. Do your work and hand it in, and you get marks for it." So this is particularly effective early in a course where there are relatively few marks, each having a large impact. But it sets the tone for the remainder of the course as well. MarkBook will also tell you where there are problems with your calculations. Each mark set has been configured for authentic assessment using the as learning, for learning, and of learning designations. In this case, only the assessment of learning mark set is in scope for this review. So by reviewing each entry using the Entries button, our teacher found upon further reflection a few places where the original importance of the assignment was a bit out of balance. Entry number 5 is an example where that assessment is worth 100 marks, but it's only contributing 3.9% to the overall grade of 19.7% to that application category. So this can be modified. Also, entry number 14 that we're looking at right now is an example of an assessment worth 100 marks, but it's over contributing 5.8% to the overall grade of 19.3% to the knowledge category. This should also be modified. So let's return to entry number 5. If we check the importance value that was set for this assessment, you can see that an importance of times 100 was entered. Increasing this value to a more appropriate times 150 will increase this assessment's contribution to the overall mark and change it from a 3.9% to 5.4% because this was a very valuable project in application of science learning. And again, remembering to save the adjustment, we can now move on to the next modification. Checking the importance value that was set for entry number 14, the bonding project, you can see that an importance value of 100 was entered. Reducing this value to a more appropriate times 75 will decrease the percentage this assessment contributes to the overall mark from a 5.8% to 4.6% because in retrospect, this assignment was over-contributing to the knowledge of science category. Again, saving the adjustment. You can correct this by changing the category weight as well. You may even wish to set the weights to 0, which will remove that category from the calculations until it has more assessments. But remember, don't forget to reset the weight. Weighting is how you specify the importance of each assessment, as we've seen, which will influence what proportion it will make up on the overall grade. This will allow you to apply your informed professional judgment for the whole class or for certain students. There are just a few of the stories here that MarkBook can tell you. MarkBook can also help you share these stories with your students and their parents. Here is a teacher toolbox that provides a complete overview of your students' achievement and can perform as a diagnostic lens into each student's academic performance in your classes. And that will then enhance communication with parents, administrators, and especially students, enhance your students' motivations to succeed, enhance their academic achievement, enhance their accountability, and enhance your professional image. MarkBook gives you as many options as you need to easily manage weighting to verify that you are able to ensure that students' marks accurately reflect their achievement. But MarkBook is only a guide, and your informed professional judgment is the final arbiter. So listen to the stories that MarkBook will tell you. It will make you a better teacher with better students.